9 News Plus weather, sponsored by Carrier Colorado. The future of home comfort is here.
Thanks so much for joining us here on 9 News Plus. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi with a detailed look at your Colorado weather forecast. We'll get into that Nuggets forecast. Of course, they play basketball indoors, but if you're heading down to Ball Arena or any of the watch parties or just having some folks over, we'll get into that forecast before, during, and after the game for tonight as the Nuggets get ready for Game 1 of the first ever NBA Finals. So I know we're all excited about that, and we're all maybe not as excited to see all this cloud cover around for the start of the month of June. It is the start of meteorological summer. Meteorologists, we measure the seasons by full months. And what I mean by that is that spring, because of to keep consistent meteorological records, the full months of March, April, and May are considered to be spring. The full months of June, July, August are considered to be summer. Again, that's to keep consistent record keeping, because if you think about it, right, astronomical spring or summer, that date, the start of official summer, that changes each year. So sometimes it'll be June the 18th, others June the 22nd. So again, for consistency's sake, that's why we consider this today to be the start of meteorological summer. So how about that? Now, the story from last month, we did pick up a little bit of rain yesterday. We had some pretty strong storms on the north side of the metro area. We ended up with 5.53 inches of rain last month. Folks, if you're new to Colorado, this is a ton of rain for us, for the Denver area. For a little bit of context, that is about 7 times the amount of rainfall that Seattle got last month. So last month we picked up over 5.5 inches worth of rainfall in Denver. Again, that is about 7 times what Seattle picked up last month alone. That's way more than what New York, Chicago, Boston, D.C. got as well. We got a ton of rain last month, and in fact it was our 11th wettest month ever recorded here along the Front Range, our 4th wettest May ever recorded as well. Impressive stuff, no doubt about it, and I know a lot of you are really excited about that. As you are, I could say this, my fiance is thrilled about our garden in our backyard because of all this rain that we've had. I know some of you had some issues with the hail, but I would say, generally speaking, all this water, great news, and I'll kind of get into what it meant for the drought as well. Now today, cloudy with storms. We're going to do that again for tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. So folks, it is a cool, wet start to June. What we're seeing outside today, get used to it, because this is going to stick around for not just a day or two. This is probably going to be a prolonged period, 5 to 7 days of this kind of wet and little unsettled weather. In fact, we're already starting to see those first shower storms pop on up into the mountains. A lot of action for us here into the high country already, and specifically on up by South Park as well as north into Clear Creek County, the I-70 mountains, seeing some of those showers and storms as well. And those will eventually trickle their way down here into the Denver area. We've had a few sprinkles around this morning, but we're not seeing any kind of consistent rainfall at this point, but that will change as we head over the next couple of hours. So come about 1, 2 o'clock, showers and storms start to move their way into the Denver area. I should have mentioned this earlier on. The severe weather risk today is low. I know we dealt with some pretty nasty hail on parts of the North Metro. Frederick, Thornton, Meade saw a pretty nasty storm yesterday. The risk for something like that, it's not zero, but it's considerably lower than what we had yesterday. So again, if you're hoping to avoid those stronger storms, this should be some good news for that. Now, in terms of the metro area, and time this out for you, of course, Nuggets got Game 1 tonight. If you're heading down to Ball Arena, or you're heading downtown, or you're just going to be outside for any of those watch parties or celebrations, just bring your rain gear. I would have the poncho with you, no doubt about that, because we're going to have rain around before, during, and after the game. I would say the main time window for any rain would probably be before the game. It's probably about 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock is when we'll have those showers around. During the game, not so concerned about that. We have some showers around. And then after the game, there's also going to be some wet weather, perhaps lingering for us here along the Front Range. So again, it just looks unsettled as we head through the next few hours and really over the next few days as well. Temperatures, because of that cloud cover, it is considerably cooler than it was this time yesterday. We got to near 80 yesterday, hit 79 yesterday, and been mentioning this throughout the morning. The heat seems to have magically backed on off. Yeah, we'll leave that at that. 60s, 70s on the Eastern Plains, 50s and 60s into the high country. For today, mid 70s for us, a little cooler than average and a little cooler than yesterday. So Showers and storms around mainly between about 2 and 6, but we'll have some leftover showers around tonight as well. And then for the week, the rest of the weekend, the upcoming weekend, got this upper level low that's going to just kind of sit and spin and sit and spin and just lead to these daily chances for showers and storms for really a prolonged period here, folks. Again, this area low pressure just doesn't want to go anywhere. So tomorrow, similar to today, I would say tomorrow looks slightly drier than today, maybe slightly lower rain odds for tomorrow, maybe slightly less coverage, but it's pretty similar all in all tomorrow compared to today. And then, by the way, the weekend doesn't look great either, but we do have showers around, probably slightly higher chance in the foothills and Palmer Divide for any rainfall for tomorrow. Denver will have some showers around, no doubt about that. If you have outdoor plans for tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, have an indoor alternative or bring the rain gear because we will have showers around. Saturday in particular looks wet. I've gotten a few questions about the Red Rocks concert on Saturday night. If you're asking my opinion on that, I would just tell you, yeah, bring the rain gear. Let's just leave it at that. It looks pretty wet for Saturday night as well. By the way, of course, that also coincides with Game 2 on Saturday, or I should say Sunday's Game 2 for the Nuggets, and I would say that it looks pretty wet for both days this weekend. So unfortunately, if you're hoping to get some dry weather and maybe avoid some of that, gets a nice day. I don't know what to tell you here, folks. Look at that forecast, and that pretty much sums it up. It's going to be cloudy and cool. It's not really until the middle to end part of next week that we finally start to dry things on out. And by the way, by our average high for this time of year, we're normally for today, our average high is 78, and by the middle of next week, we're about 80 degrees for an average high. So when we're talking about these highs stuck in the mid 70s, it's pretty cool, and even upper 60s, that is pretty darn cool for this time of year for us along the front range. Now, the good news of this, we continue to feel this all spring long. This has been a wonderful, and I mean wonderful spring in terms of just busting our drought. Right now, Colorado, only about 6% of Colorado is considered to be under any form of drought. For what it's worth, those yellow colors that you look at on your screen here, this is considered to be abnormally dry. It's not an official drought. That means we're in kind of pre-drought conditions, but the kind of lighter, darker shade of yellow, that's where we're in drought. And only about 1% of Colorado, it's really just Baca County, that is considered to be in severe or worse drought across the state right now. So we've really done a number in terms of making this number a whole lot better. For a little context, at the start of the year, about 40% of Colorado was considered to be in drought. We're now down to about 6%. At the start of the year, about 31% of Colorado was in severe or worse drought. That number is just 1%. So again, we've just made an enormous difference in terms of the drought over the last few months. That said, we're going to continue to do that over this week, but it's going to be unsettled and cool. But I'm just thinking, could be a good omen that things turning notably cooler as the Miami Heat arrive in town for Game 1 tonight. We'll leave that at that. So hopefully Mother Nature giving us a pretty good omen for the shape of the series starting tonight. But again, top line takeaways, if you're heading down to Ball Arena or just outside today, we're going to have scattered showers and storms around. Probably a slightly higher chance of hearing a rumble of thunder or seeing maybe even a little bit of small hail north and east of Denver today. But the overall severe weather risk is low today, is much lower than it was yesterday. So again, I don't think we need to take those severe weather precautions the way we did yesterday. It's always a good idea to have the car in the garage. It is Colorado after all. Weird things happen here, but for the most part, I think that the severe weather risk is overall pretty low for today, and it'll stay that way for the next few days. But that said, we'll have showers and rumbles and thunder around over the next, really foreseeable future, next 5 to 6 days or so along the front range with cooler than average temperatures for the start of June. We'll have another update for you coming up at 9 News at noon. Meteorologist Lauren Robinson. She'll have another update here on 9 News Plus at 2 p.m. And then meteorologist Danielle Grant is in at 4, 5, 6, 9, 10 on the 9 News family of networks here this afternoon and tonight. Once again, meteorologist Chris Bianchi, thanks for joining us here on 9 News Plus. Go Nuggets and have a great rest of your Thursday.